two, one. Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is a Afromat review of the movie Tenet. Just got back from watching it. Literally fresh off of watching Tenet. Uh, shit. This movie is like a legit trip. The whole movie is a trip. From beginning to end, you kind of know what's happening, but you don't. Like, they tell you the premise of the movie is that some things, they start small with bullets, right? Bullets can travel backwards through time. And at first you think it's just metal that can travel back in time. So it's like you hold your hand up like this, and the object will come back and you'll grab it. And it's like, oh, but you dropped it already. So the beginning of the movie starts off. When the movie first started, me and my girlfriend thought that it was a trailer. I thought it was a Batman trailer, right? So the beginning of the movie, it's like they're raiding an opera or some shit, right? They run in, and it's like a SEAL Team 6 mission to get some dude out. And they don't even explain who the dude is. You don't find out till later. You never find out who the dude is. But, so I'm just going to, okay. Spoiler warning from here on out. So if you wanted to watch the movie, I'm just going to spoil it. Well, I don't even know if it's a spoiler, right? It's kind of a spoiler, but throughout the whole movie, there's a machine. I'm still trying to work out what everything. I'm so fresh from the movie. I literally got back less than an hour ago. So there's a machine. You enter and then you leave. It spins and you leave the other side going backwards through time. So they'll watch you and you'll be like walking out of it like backwards, and you'll see yourself like. And so you can interact with yourself while moving backwards in time. You just can't touch them or it'll erase or whatever. But it's not time travel. You're just like, the world's still moving forward. You're just moving backwards through time. So there's like an epic car chase where a car is literally like chasing them in reverse, right? He's trying to catch up to them, or he's driving away from them, and they're driving towards him. So they're trying to. It's a super epic movie. I mean, Christopher Nolan, he made 1980 whatever, and he made all the Batman movies. So super cool set pieces, and it's like super large scale. But I mean, it's so insanely trippy. The whole movie, you think you know what's happening, but you don't. So the main character, it's this guy. I don't even remember his name. I literally don't even remember his name. I don't even know if they said it, guys. I don't even think they said it. But throughout the whole movie, they definitely probably said it. But it was like a 2-hour, 30-minute long, guys. So in the beginning of the movie, he gets abducted by these guys in a mission gone wrong, right? They pull out his teeth or whatever, and they force him to they're trying to get information out of him. But it turns out it's a test, and they were testing to see if he would kill himself. So he took his suicide pill that his friend was like grabbing on the ground. So he takes the suicide pill, so he passes the test. He wakes up and he passes the test. John David Washington's his name. I don't know if that's the actor. Either way, so he passes this test to get into this organization or whatever, and the whole task of the organization is to save the world, not from a nuclear attack. From, like, they call it's a temporal attack, and it's an attack from. They call it a temporal pincer maneuver, and it's like a SEAL Team 6 moving backwards in time, and a SEAL Team 6 moving forwards in time to attack this place and moment, right? So the whole movie is leading up to this temporal pincer. And so god, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Okay, so in order to get the plan in motion, he hires one of his he gets set up with one of this guy's who's like an expert locksmith. He's like a physics major. He's really good at fighting. It's Edward from, I don't even know his name. It's just Edward from Patrick something. Edward from Twilight. So he's in this movie, and they work together. And he's never named in the whole movie. He's just referred to as protagonist. He doesn't have a name in the movie. Yeah, see, they literally don't mention his name in the whole movie. Just protagonist. That's trippier. That's even trippier. Okay, so protagonist. He's he knows nothing about any of the time travel shit, right? So he meets up with this guy, and his friend knows way too much about this stuff, and he starts like telling him stuff that he already knows. So he's like, "Who are you working for? Are you working for the Russians?" So he thinks that that he's an enemy, but in reality, and this is the spoiler, I'm gonna lay this out. The protagonist, the black male, the leader of the group who knows nothing in the beginning, hired his friend to work with him in the past so that he could teach himself about the time travel stuff and organize the temporal pincer maneuver to claim 9 objects. These 9 objects, when combined, is the technology that's used to go back in time. They're called the algorithm. So these algorithms were sent back in time. They couldn't hide it in the future, because if they hid it in the future, people would find them and get the technology. So they hid it in the past. Right? So there's 9 of them, and they're hidden all around the world across the 9 superpowers, the 9 like superpowers of the world. So they're all gathered, and they're trying, in the end of the movie, the climax, the temporal pincer all climaxes around this moment when they're trying to send into the ground all 9 pieces for the bad guy to find in the past, so he has it for the future. It's this Russian dude on the screen right now. But so essentially, the beginning sequence of the movie, I had no idea. I thought it was a trailer. I had no idea what was happening. I think the way you have to think about the movie is thinking backwards. So the end of the movie, Edward from Twilight tells protagonist, "Your journey's just beginning. Your job is now to hire all of us to get the mission accomplished." So working back from that moment, you have him. Oh, and then there's the Russian's wife, right? The Russian's wife's job is to kill her husband, but the husband, if he dies or something, he has a code or something that releases the It's honestly, all the scenes with the Russian person is pretty ineligible. I mean, he talks like a Russian the whole time. It's hard to tell. But I mean, halfway through the movie, once the climax starts happening, and you have it's like SEAL Team Red and SEAL Team Blue. Blue, their job is to enter and then extract in 5 minutes. Red, they're moving forwards through time. Blue is moving backwards through time. So it's this giant battle, like an Iraqi war. They're army soldiers on the ground, boots on the ground, and you have people like running backwards, like sprinting, like, and they're talking to each other on the radios, like 3, 2, 1, shoot, and then they'll shoot, and then the building collapses, and then it'll go to the red side, and then they'll see the building lift up, and then they'll shoot the top of it, and then they can go in. It's such a trippy movie, and like leaving it, you realize Christopher Nolan might actually be just a genius. I mean, of course he is, but I mean, like Like, just to think about this. I don't know if he wrote it, but he produced it, and honestly, to direct this shit would be super complicated. And throughout the whole movie, you think, because in the end, you realize he hired everyone. So Edward from Twilight says, or protagonist asks Edward from Twilight, "Who hired you?" And he says, "Oh, you haven't guessed it by now?" He says, "You did." So you have to assume that throughout the whole movie, every single person that met protagonist already knew who protagonist was. So honestly, I kind of want to rewatch the movie just to try to get that experience, but it's like super confusing. I kind of want them to make a second one. And I thought that's kind of what they were leading up to when they said your path is only halfway fulfilled or something. You're only halfway there in your journey. But it's super interesting how in the beginning he starts. But this raises questions of, if he is the one who starts the organization to claim the things in the past, and he hired himself, right? So in the beginning, when he got by the Russians in the opera mission gone wrong, he got his tooth pulled out, and then he took the cyanide pill. It was a fake cyanide pill. They just wanted to make sure that they were testing him, right? He was testing himself, even though he knew he would do it. So he knew he had to do that. He hires himself to go on this mission, meet this guy that he also hired to go on this mission, and so they go on this mission together. The guy he's working with already has been on the mission. I mean, obviously it was Christopher Nolan's plan to make people leave the cinema with questions. I mean, unanswered questions. I feel like there needs to be some sort of like, there needs to be like a master cut of the movie, all the scenes reversed, but not reversed to where you can't understand what they're saying, but like Act 1 to 3, Act 2 in the middle, but switched. Act 1 or Act 3 in the middle or in the beginning, and then just play it like that. Just a cut of the movie like that. And I kind of want to understand. Maybe the movie will make more sense. I'm not saying it'll be better because I like it how it is, but maybe that'll be like a second watching it backwards, right? So it's like part 1, and then you watch it backwards for part 2. And actually, the word Tenet is a what's the word? Oh my god, I know what the word is. A palindrome. It's a palindrome. It's spelled the same backwards. It's cute, right? It's cute. That's cute. Nice job, Christopher Nolan. If your name was Nolan, your name would have been palindrome. But yeah, super cool movie. The fight scenes were super dope. There was one scene, spoiler alert, where he's fighting himself going backwards in time, but he doesn't know he's fighting himself yet. So he comes out of the thing, the machine that sends you back in time, and he sees himself, and he's fighting himself, but he's moving backwards in time, and he's moving forward in time. So they're like cluttering, like they're trying to grab the gun, and then the gun gets pulled back to his hand, and he's like boom, 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 and then the bullets are flying back into his pistol. It's super cool. The movie, about halfway, the movie starts to play in reverse, except you're following the same person doing the same thing, going through these scenes that you've already seen. Just now you understand them from a reversed perspective. There's a lot of cool hints and stuff. Like there's one scene when his jacket's ripped like this, and you're like, oh, I wonder why his jacket's ripped. And then he goes and he fights, and then it gets zipped back up when he's fighting, and he no longer has a wound there. Like the knife gets pulled out. It's super weird. Super unique movie. I don't know what it has on Rotten Tomatoes. I actually probably should have checked that. Let me check that real quick. Rotten Tomatoes. I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes just because reviewers are, for the most part, dumb. Reviewers are like really stuck up about movies. Tenet. Let's see. 2020. It got a 72 on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't want to say that's because the reviewers don't understand the movie, because I hope that the reviewers are smart enough to understand what's happening, but maybe they just didn't like it. I thought it was a really cool movie. My final score is probably, this is the conclusion. Afromat's final score for Tenet is a 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. On my second watch, I'm scared that I might get bored, because I'll be trying to focus on all these details and stuff, and the dialogue is not that engaging. The dialogue is most of the time like just there. It's like secondary. I mean, they say some things, but most of the things they say is like meaningless. They probably could have just gone with like a piece of paper, or a piece of paper. He holds it up, and then it says, "Oh, say Tenet" or something. Like a lot of the scenes, the dialogue just kind of drones on. That one of my main problems is dialogue. Another is probably, I want to say the acting was really good. There was a couple scenes, I don't even remember. There was one character who had like a line, and it just really didn't land. It like really didn't land. She said like, you can tell when someone's in like distress or something, and they say like, "Oh no, don't do it," and you can tell they're acting. When you can tell someone's acting, it's like taking me out of the moment for a sec. But I mean, besides that, it was a really good movie. 8.5 is a really good score. I'd put it right next to not Interstellar, Inception. I actually I think I like this movie better than Inception. Inception was just oh my god, I didn't even talk about the music. The music in this, I kind of want to just listen to the soundtrack because it's super, super cool. It's like got all this like, it's almost like half of the music is playing backwards and half of it's playing forward on top of each other. So it's like, it's like super, it like hits and then like zoop and then hits, and it's super bassy. Watching in the movie theater is like probably 100 times better than watching it on my iPhone when it comes out on Netflix. It's super cool. Like, this is a theater movie. That's why it was released during coronavirus in theaters. It wasn't like Mulan, because you have to watch this in a movie theater. You can't just watch this on your TV with your family eating chips and dip, right? This is like a theater experience. And then you look around and you look at other people sitting in the with you watching the movie, and you see them all like mouth agape, questions, like blank faces. They're all trying to process the movie with you, and you're all trying to process the movie at the same time. And everyone just leaves and they're like, what did I just watch? And that is why I love this movie. Go watch it. 8.5 out of 10.